It's the after talk.
After talk.
It is the after
What's
talk.
up? I'm meeting after Crossroads. What's up? After Crossroads.
It's the after talk, y'all. It's the after talk.
What's up? Hello, and how are you doing? Welcome to Upward and Onward Presents our meeting at the Crossroads Music Series, After Talk. Now, the After Talk is where we actually get a chance to go back a little bit and focus in on some of the interviews that we had earlier in the year with some of the artists. So sit back, relax, snap on the seatbelt, do whatever you got to do, grab some popcorn because we're about to get nitty gritty and get a little bit around the edges of things, if you know what I mean. Ruben Anthony was born in the beautiful Caribbean island of Curaçao and started singing and dancing pretty much around the age of 7. At age 18, Reuben moved to Amsterdam Holland, where he was accepted to the theater school. Now, after school, Reuben played a lot of leading roles in musicals like Fame, Carmen Cubana, the musical Hair, Daddy Cool, and the list continues. He even toured with Enrique Iglesias. Reuben recorded his first album, Exceptional, which was released in 2006. The single Be My Lady hit the charts at number 5 in Austria. He executive produced his next 2 albums, In My Room, Take It All, and went on to write 2 songs for the musical Carmen Cubana. In 2019, Reuben was part of Team Anouk in The Voice of Holland. After the show, Reuben started a crowdfunding campaign for his new project called Blue Light Frequency, which was inspired by Reuben's travels around the world and the people he met along the way. He started production on the project in Amsterdam alongside producer Dutch Flower. The first single, Always on My Mind, reached over 40,000 streams on Spotify. Reuben currently lives in Almere, Holland, which is about 30 minutes from Amsterdam. So I met Reuben many years ago. I won't even try to count the years. I used to live in Europe years ago, and Amsterdam used to be one of the places. And it's probably one of the many times that I would go back and forth between America and Europe. And I think at this particular time, I was staying with my sister in Holland, and I was looking for a performance gig. And so she set me up with who she thought was a guy maybe I didn't really know. And it was happened to be Reuben. Well, I knew who Reuben was because he had his way around town. We hung out in some of the same spots where singers would go and perform and sing or whatnot. And the ladies always loved him because he had the light eyes and used to drive this Vespa or whatnot. Well, my sister set up a meeting for us to have dinner or lunch, whatever it was. We were eating. And we talked about some possibilities. He talked about some people he might be able to introduce me to and some things that might be coming up. One in which was a show that he had been touring with. It's called Daddy Cool. He said there was a role that might need to still be filled. A guy that was doing it before might not be available for it, so it might be an available role. So I think maybe a few days later, between him and my sister, they set me up with an audition. I went to the audition. Maybe a couple of days after that, they ended up contacting my sister and telling me that I booked it. So I was in rehearsals in Holland with Reuben doing this show called Daddy Cool. I mean, Reuben's the true triple threat, singer, actor, dancer. I'm just trying to fit in. I'm a singer. I move a little bit, but I was able to do a couple of my little pop lock moves in the show at the time. But it was a show about Bonnie M's music. It was just a great experience, and we got a chance to hang out in Mallorca, Spain. We were there for just a little short while, but it was a sit down, and we were able to just chill, and I got a chance to hang out with Ruben Anthony.
Open frequency. Give me life, give me true life. Open vacancy. Green light. Give me life, give me black light.
What's good, people? What is good? What's up? What's the happening? What's the buzz? Let me in on it. Come on. Speak your truth. Well, welcome again to After Talk. We are back. We're in it. Gonna kind of pick up not where we left off because that was more Middle East, Israel, Morocco vibe. But before that was back-to-back Caribbean vibes. And now we want to come back to a little bit of Caribbean vibes, Caribbean/European. with my buddy, my close friend, Ruben Anthony is in the house today. Going to talk to us about, some of the things that have been highlights in his life and things that have, pushed him to keep moving forward in this entertainment industry. And I say entertainment because Ruben does it all. I mean, he's does film, TV, radio, he records, he's quadruple threat, he does it all. He does it all. With that being said, I know Ruben well, and I know Bruno has worked with Ruben a few times on the cruise ship.
Yeah, man, it was great working with him there.
We're all from the cruise ship family, so we miss the cruise ship life. I mean, we have a lot of fun out there, so hopefully this thing goes away really quick so we can kind of get back to some of that fun, some of those fun times, so to speak. But I know Ruben and Bruno have probably worked together on a few contracts, even if it was just an install from Bruno.
Yeah, we've done a few, actually.
We know a good bit about him and some of his friends that signed on from the European side of things. But we want him to share some of those things with the rest of the world, people that don't know him or people that have always wanted to know the inside scoop of a Ruben Anthony. We want to see if he'll tell the folks a little bit, about, I don't know, his favorite drink. I'm always on the drink.
There's a phone number for people like you, right?
I've been sticking with bourbon pretty much, so I haven't ventured off too far. Maybe he'll speak on some of his greatest accomplishments, who's the person who he was most inspired by or who inspired him the most. Talk a little bit about his upbringing, the type of music that moves him, and maybe something like what would he tell his younger self if he got a chance to meet his younger self, maybe to warn or to encourage. What would he tell his younger self? Ruben's worked with so many different people, and I know he patterns himself after a few artists. So just kind of want him to talk about a few things and give us a little read on what makes Ruben Anthony.
Let's sing. Yep, that's me walking on the beach. Man, I love this place. Mi duši Isla Curaçao. Curaçao, the place where I was born and raised. My name is Ruben Anthony, and today I'm going to take you to my favorite places on the island, tell you my stories, and sing you my favorite songs. Mallorca. Look, I did some dumb shit with my girl back then, and you were there. Remember that one night when we were out drinking and we just like, yeah, man. And all you had to do was like say, yeah, man. And I just kept going and going. And then she said this, and then this, and then. And you're like, yeah, man. And that's what real friends do. Just, yeah, man. So cheers to that.
Yo, I do remember that so vividly. But a lot of my yeah, man just comes from years of effing up. That's just to be honest. Years of effing up. So I've already been through it. Is probably what it was. And we might be the same age, but yeah, man. What that you got over there?
This is Jack Daniel's honey whiskey.
Honey whiskey?
Yeah, man. I started drinking whiskey when I was 26. My uncle had passed, and he was a big whiskey drinker. And then my cousin was like, we never really drank whiskey. But because in memory of his dad, he started drinking whiskey. And I was like, yo, I'm solid with my cousin, so I'm going for it, So I was 26 when I started drinking whiskey. It's all downhill from that point on, man. I mean, shit. Cheers.
Jack, huh? That's Bruno's territory. Oh, well, maybe not the honey. That might be a little bit too sweet for him, but hey, at least it's the same company, so, I'm sure you and Bruno have had a drink or something before on the cruise ship, so.
Yep, many a Jack. Honey optional.
Yeah, that's what's up. Now, whiskey's always my go-to. But this week, what was it? This week was Knob Creek. That's what I was on this week, Knob Creek. And I also took a page out of Cody's book from earlier episodes and After Talk. And since I was in Texas, I tried Shinerbach beer.
I hope you guys enjoyed the songs that I've done for you guys. It's actually kind of like a cool thing right now to be able to do this. I want to sing an acoustic version of my new single for you called Always on My Mind. I hope you like it. Technology is cool, right? Like sometimes you spend too much time on your phone and you're like, I'm on my phone, like trying to get this and this and this and this. But now because of the lockdown, this is amazing. Like you can just text me and we can just talk like this, and it's amazing. And I can spread my love and my music towards you guys. promise you I never let you fall. 'Cause I don't know what it is, but I'm loving this. 'Cause you're always on my mind, always on my mind. So I do my greatest accomplishments. You know, it's a difficult question, or not. It's an interesting question because I'm not where I want to be yet, if you know what I mean. And there's so much more that I want to achieve that even though I've done so much already and I've done many cool things and cool shows and like I had my highs and my lows, it's almost like because I haven't achieved my goal yet, I can't say like, oh yeah, but that was great because I'm still on the road to get somewhere. You know what I mean? At the same time, a good friend of mine always said like, it's not your goal that's important, but the way you get there, right? So the road to the goal. I could go on and tell you about, look, I did this and this and this and this, and that's cool. And I'm very, very proud of my albums that I made. I made 3 albums, and actually I made 4 albums, all original material. And the process that goes into it, of the writing, the producing, the mastering, the mixing, just getting the money together, all that stuff. Like to have the visions and all that stuff and to have your vision become reality, that's something I'm very proud of, that I have the drive and the spirit to do that without a record company. So yeah, I could talk about that for hours, but I think my greatest accomplishment is having been through so many things and having so many things happen that shouldn't have happened or I didn't want to happen, and I'm still here. You know what I mean? Like I'm still smiling, I'm still doing what I love, I'm still here talking about my music, I'm still singing. I think that's the greatest accomplishment, that I didn't give up. Contemplating what went wrong. It's kind of corny. You're probably thinking like, yeah, Reuben, shit, like I didn't want to hear that. But I think right now at this age, this stage in my life, I'm like, yeah, my greatest accomplishment is that I'm still here. You know, things happen. Like I can elaborate a little bit. Like when I was, I think I was 24 or 25, my first single went to the top 5 in Austria. So I was riding high. Then I came to Holland, did 3 tours, riding high. Then I went, did my first musical in Holland as a lead, riding high. Then we went to Mallorca together. That's where I met you. And then that just totally backfired, and emotionally, psychologically, that really like knocked me out. It took me like a good 5 years to get back on track with myself, and ship life helped with that because I did cruise ships for 5 years. That's when I remember when I met you at the you were getting off the ship and I was getting on. That was like, yes. But also somebody like you doing a cruise ship made me think like, okay, cruise ships are cool to do, because before that I was like, nah, I don't know if I should do cruise ships, but if somebody like you does it, then it must be good. And it was the best decision because it gave me time, money, and space to get myself back together. And then coming off of ships and being back in Holland now for 3 years and having another album under my belt and releasing songs and getting those streams on Spotify, that's why I'm like, I'm still here, you know, and I'm still strong, I'm still healthy, I'm still going. So that's why I say that's my greatest accomplishment. Staring at me from across the room, looking like what you waiting for. Boy, come tell me what you wanna do. There's no need to beat this beat. I know a place where we can meet. I'll do everything that you want me to. I'll make a video of me and you're asking me to name one person that inspired me the most. Really? One guy, one person, one woman, one man? Oof. Like I said before, like I'm not where I want to be yet. And every step I take, I feel like I'm getting closer to that goal where I can be like, yes, this is it, right? And it has to do with everything, like the style of writing, the style of production, the style of songs, everything, that process, it changes with every project. Therefore, also, it's difficult to say like, okay, there's one person that inspires you.
Happened the moment you were revealed, 'cause you were a dream that should not have been a fantasy real. You gave me this beating, baby, this rhythm inside now. You made me feel good and feel loved and feel nice. Gave me paradise. So shouldn't I realize you're the highest of the high? And if you don't know, then I'll say, so don't ever wonder.
I remember when I was 19, I was 18, and I was still in school, in the performing arts school in Amsterdam, and we were allowed to dance a piece in this club called Paradiso, and we were going to be the opening act for an artist, and I'd never heard of this artist before. Turns out this artist is Maxwell, when he still had the afro, and this was his first album, his first tour out, and after the show, I just remember feeling the need or the rush to just like rush to the front of the stage and just watch. From that moment on, basically, I was sold. I was just like, yes, this is what I want an artist to be, because I loved his lyricism. I loved his melodies. I loved how smooth he was or is. And mind you, I always, as a kid, was looking at Janet Jackson and Michael Jackson. Like I knew all the choreographies from If. I knew everything. I knew The Way It Made Me Feel is still my favorite song from Michael Jackson. But this was a different level. Like Michael and Janet were like pop, and they were like out there, you know? And then here comes this guy who is so smooth and still touches me. The essence of him just touched me. It's also cool for you maybe to know, like growing up in Curaçao, like my mom is white and my dad is black. But my mom was a soul lover, but she didn't really kill us with soul at home. You know, like I knew, for example, Otis Redding was my mom's favorite, but I didn't know like a lot of soul artists. So growing up, I had MTV. And MTV at that time was Madonna, Aha, Duran Duran, Nelson, which was a rock band, Aerosmith. So I started playing the drums when I was a kid, and I was rocking out. And people like Johnny Gill and New Edition, I thought that was, I didn't like that at all. I'm going to say it, I thought that was fake music because everything was drum programming, right? And beats. And I was about the drums, like, and guitars and live music. So for me, R&B and soul was like, stupid music and all this. Then when I moved to Holland, I switched somehow because the kids in my neighborhood started calling me half-breed. And I was like, what? Half-breed? What's that? Because my mom's white and my dad's black, they had a name for that, but I had never heard this name before. So moving to Holland made me realize like, oh, I'm different. Like I knew I was different because of the eyes, but not because of the color of my skin, the color of my eyes. So I was fine with the color of my eyes. Like, yeah, sure, you think it's cat eyes or whatever you think it is, but I never heard anything about my skin. So them kids telling me that made me go, wait, so if I'm different, why am I different? How am I different? And that's how I started looking into Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and reading about them at 13, 14. And that's how I got into, oh, that's where the music comes from, what the music means, the hymns and the soul and the church music, and that they were talking to each other through music so that the masters wouldn't understand or wouldn't hear. Like that's how I got inspired by being black, so to speak. But before that, I wasn't even aware of anything. So I would call Maxwell my first conscious, like, oh shit, this is what I want to do. And before that, it was Michael Jackson that I was like, I want to be like Mike. But who didn't really want to be like Mike? You know what I mean? Like everybody thought it was kind of cool the way he did the moonwalk and the crotch grabbing and on the toes and everything. Like everybody wanted to be like him. But musically, and you can also hear that back in my first album, Exceptional, I tried to write like Maxwell. I tried to like be mysterious with my words, with a simple message, but still be smooth with my wording, you know? But I'm not gonna say it worked. Let's say it's a process.
You were always on my mind, yeah. Always on my mind, girl.
So actually this question about who I patterned myself after the most is kind of like a follow-up to the other one. So we have Maxwell, and you already heard Michael Jackson, and who else? Stevie Wonder. I like him. I like him a lot, actually. I try to emulate what he does, but you know how it is. Come on.
Frequently you're wearing perfume, and with you say no special place to go.
What would I tell my younger self? So many things, man. You know, they say don't live with regret, but I honestly cannot say that I don't live with regret. Recognizing your opportunities, this is my personality. I always look for the next best thing, you know? And I do this in everything. And it doesn't mean that I don't appreciate what I have at the moment, but I'm just so eager to grow to the next phase that sometimes I misread what's in front of me. One of the things, like it's a funny story, and it's a small thing, but it kind of like puts it to the point. There was this choreographer looking for a couple of dancers, and it was just a private audition. And this was in the time when I was still dancing. I had bum rushed the audition, and it was for an European tour for an English pop group, Eternal. And they were hot at the moment, at that time. I got the job, but I was so like, I didn't get it. Nah. That when I got the voicemail and it was somebody speaking English, I thought it was a friend of mine pranking me. So I deleted the message thinking, that's not for me. That's just my friend pranking me. Turns out it was I really got the job. And this was one of those moments where I was like, dude, if you would have just believed in yourself a little bit more and taken yourself a little bit more serious and not be like, that's not them, or they wouldn't take me, I would have been on that tour, you know? And then something else might have come out of that. But connecting this to the first question you asked, again, I'm still here, right? So even though I would go back to my younger self and be like, listen, take every chance serious and don't knock it, because I also did like 9 years of musicals and I did all leading roles. But the thing is, I never wanted to do musicals. My passion was pop music or soul music or be like Maxwell, be like Michael Jackson. So when I got the opportunity to do the musicals, I always took it with like, yeah, sure, I do it. So I didn't take it I kind of like took it for granted a little bit because my heart was not really into it. And the funny thing is, because my heart wasn't really into it, and I'm going a step deeper, because my heart wasn't into it, I was relaxed. And because I was relaxed, I nailed that shit. And that's why people loved it, because they were like, this guy is so easy to work with. This guy is so nice and so chill and whatever. But with my own music, I get so tense sometimes and so caught up in it that I can't even sing straight anymore, or I can't even write anymore, because I start doubting every word that I write, because I'm like, oh, I shouldn't say it like this. I should find a deeper word or a better word. And that in itself is a creative process. But at the same time, all my successes or all my things, all my high points, they were achieved by me being kind of like blasé about it. You know, like same with the ships. Like I always thought that the shows on the ships were like easy, and they're not. But because in my mindset, I was like, oh, this is easy. I just ripped through them like it was nothing, you know? But then when I have to do a 30-minute show with my own music, which I wrote, which I know inside and out, I get nervous. I start asking myself, can I sing? Is it good enough? I don't know what to do. You know, like all these stupid amateur questions come in my head. I would tell my younger self to recognize opportunities and stay humble and relax. Just relax. Because that's when that's when the magic happens, when you relax.
Roxanne, you don't have to put on that red light. Walk the streets for money. You don't care if it's wrong or if it's right. Roxanne, you don't have to wear that dress tonight. Roxanne, you don't have to sell your body through the night. His eyes upon your face, his hands upon your head, his lips caress your skin. It's more than I can stand. Why does my heart
The pandemic, wow, what has it taught me? It taught me that I really love what I do because right now I can't perform. I can't be on stage. I can't do anything with an audience, with a live audience. So I miss that. But on a deeper level, staying home, dealing with staying home, it humbles you. It makes you go like, I'm happy I have a roof over my head. I'm happy that I have food, that I can put food on the table. I'm healthy. I have a terrace. Like I can't show you, but I have a terrace, even though I live on the first floor. So if the sun is out, I can go out and just breathe. So it's learned. I've learned more patience and kind of like be happy with the little things. Like I'm playing chess almost every day, and it takes up like 2-3 hours of my day, which is great. I'm training my brain, but like I'm busy. So this pandemic has taught me patience, and that there's a lot of crap on Netflix. My God, some of these shows, I'm like, how did you even get a production budget for this, man? Like, really? I mean, there's some good stuff on there. Killing Eve, that's my jam right now.
So I know before we check out of this joint, sign off, so to speak, you want to speak a little bit more about the song that just played, your favorite song here, and how people can maybe find this song and support you or whatnot, because I know it means a lot to you.
Thank you for that one. You know what? This song is special to me because it's about my best friend. He passed away when I was 22. He was 23. And it was like super fast. Like I got a call from his auntie, like I think on a Wednesday. I remember I was driving home from a show or from a rehearsal. And no, from a show, I think it was. And she called me and I was like, she never calls me. So I was like, hi. And she's like, hey. And I heard on the hey, the way she said hey, I knew something's up. So I just like immediately parked the car in somebody's backyard, don't even know the person. And she told me like, yeah, Clayton is kind of sick. I was like, yeah, so people get sick all the time. So what's the big deal? No, but he's really like a little bit sick. So she was trying to like slow it, like give it to me slow. And can you imagine like 3 days later, the guy was gone? And it took me all this time. Like this is like 20 years in the making kind of, like I just couldn't write about it. And now 2 years ago, I wrote this song, wrote the melody and the lyrics. And then now only I can put it into music and sing it to y'all and be celebrating his life. So thank you for making a special version because this song is special to me in every single way, like you can imagine. So thank you to everybody involved. I think we're gonna like kind of close it off. It's always good talking to you, my brother. Always cool. I like to talk. You can see I just let it go on and on about it. So I would like to ask you, your followers, my followers, everybody who's watching this, please go to Spotify and please stream Lost in Love. I just want this song to fly. It should fly, Thank you. Thank you very much for the time. I'm going to sign off and enjoy a nice little dinner. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching this as much as I enjoyed making this and talking to you guys. So talking to you. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Like one last thing I want to say. I've traveled a lot. I've been blessed to travel a lot. And one of the cool things that I learned is like I'm from Curaçao, right? And we have certain rhythms in Curaçao. And then when I went to French Polynesia, where I got this tattoo made, I was on my way to the tattoo guy, and I turned on the radio, and I was like, hey, I'm hearing the same rhythms that we play in Curaçao, but it's just a little bit faster. And then I saw a group of ladies dance, and they're also dancing with their hips, right? And us as Black people in Curaçao, as descendants from Africa, we also use, the women also use our hips, like the men also, you know? It's like a call and response kind of thing. And the only difference is we, as in Curaçao, the ladies move their hips front to back, and in French Polynesia, they move their hips more side to side. But both of them are so sensual and so, sorry to say, so sexy to see. So that combination of seeing that they dance the same way that we do, they interpret dance the same way that we do, they have the same rhythm as we do. I was thinking, like, at some point, somewhere, we were all one. It has to be, because it can't be that we're so many miles apart and then we still have the same influences, you know? And then we can debate about if this was Africa or whatever, where the first people came from. But the message is we were all one at some point, because there's no other explanation for it. This inspired me so much to push even more for coming together and talking about this, because we're so separate right now. Like, everybody's on their own thing. Like, I have so many followers, I have this many things, I have this and that and da, da, da. And actually the pandemic, in a weird way, is good for humanity, because we were told to stop and think of each other and not just of oneself. I was lucky enough to realize this, or to learn this, while I was traveling on the ships. But that was the thing that I was like, wow, we were all one people at some point, man, because it can't be that Curaçao and French Polynesia, we do the same thing. That can't be just coincidence. So I'm gonna love you and leave you with that remark. Stay safe. Think of it as not us trying to survive this as an individual, but as a people, as one earth, trying to survive this and handle this pandemic. So that's my message for you guys today. Be one. Bye.
Another day, another way for me to open up to you. Oh no, 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 no. Another day, another way for me to open up to you. Ooh. I used to worry that I would wake up one day only to find that I've got nothing to say. But now I'm letting silence do the talking. Yes, now I'm letting silence do the walking. No, 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 no. Another day, another way for me to open up to you. Oh no, another day for me to open up to you. Ooh, man, take me home.
Well, on behalf of Upward and Onward Productions, we'd like to thank you for hanging out for our meeting at the Crossroads, After Talk. Now, your attention and time is much appreciated, and we look forward to having you checking in for more later on. Remember, success is only an arm's length away. Stay safe, stay home if you can, and if not, keep practicing social distance with a healthy and cautious way of life. Upward and Onward, folks.
After talk, what's the haps? What's the scoop? What's going on? After talk.
It's the after talk.